Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. We have been sent right back to the beginning by my own ineptitude. I went and lost a run in the palace trying to start out on a princess quest, and it went so wrong that my recording software messed up. I think something went wrong with my hotkeys, and I just didn't record the episode somehow. I think it might have had to do with my record key is bound to F5, and so there might have been something where I reset the game without thinking about it, and that triggered it. So today we're going to be starting on a challenge suggested by the man himself, HyperRogue, the creator of this game. We're going to be going on a 25 treasure challenge. So we'll be going to the different lands, kind of in roughly ascending order of difficulty, and basically just trying to get 25 treasures in as many different lands as we can. I'm going to try and keep this Orb of Flash for as long as I can, because it's kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card. If we end up in a really sticky situation, it will get us out of it, it will just blow everything up. Orb of Flash is, I like to say, the most versatile orb. It's, it's not the most critical. The Orb of Safety, is basically mandatory for the way that I play. But the Orb of Flash is so helpful, and here we have already gotten into such a situation in so many different ways. You can use it to blast walls open, you can use it, oh dear. There we go. Oh, nope, that's not quite. Alright, there we go. That's got him lined up. And then like that. And like that. And let's grab this Orb of Flash. So we're doing pretty well. So having the Orb of Flash available in other lands is going to be a really big deal. It's going to really help us out, assuming we make it out of this land. And it's a good place to start because I'm familiar with it. I know how to get 25 treasures here, and it's also going to be really good to have the Orb of Flash available to us. And let's see, one more, and then we escape into the crossroads. Looks like we might need to do some melting here. No. No, I'm not happy with this. Not happy with this at all. Let's see. No, not quite. There we go, got them lined up. And then we can just follow our heat trail back, though I don't think the crossroads even went off screen. And just melt through there. There we go. The wolves cannot follow us out of the crossroads. So up next is going to be the Land of Eternal Motion. It is definitely the most important orb. The Flash Orb is the most versatile. The Orb of Safety is the most important. So because we're not doing any major quest lines that prevent us from saving, we're just going to be, we're going to want to stay in lands until we don't. And so having the Orb of Safety available to us is actually going to be a really big boon to us, because it's going to give us the option of saving and escaping while we are on 25 treasure quests in other lands. Now, one thing that I talked about in this land that I kind of wanted to clarify a little bit is we're following these lines that I call Land of Eternal Motion lines. And it's basically going from heptagon to heptagon, stepping on 2 hexagons in between. So instead of following the lines that the Great Wall takes, we kind of cross them. And this is so close to a straight line that you can treat it as such. But the problem is that if I'm turning left at every single heptagon, this dog that's on my left will never get left behind, and so we actually have to zigzag in order to leave dogs behind. And so that is kind of another straight line. You know, it's not perfectly straight, but it weaves around a straight line. And you're able to follow that closely enough that the dogs have to take a longer path to get to you. But only the dogs on one side of you will get pulled behind at each heptagon. And so following a great wall line might actually be a little bit more efficient, but I find it a little bit tricky to remember because you have these ones where you have to step off. I'm not completely sure that. I guess when I step off, that pushes the stuff to my left around, and then the heptagon pushes the stuff to my right around. So it's not something I'm completely a master of, but I know how to follow straight lines well enough, and straight lines are the core of Land of Eternal Motion strategy. And what Zeno said is that it's balanced so that getting 25 treasures in each land requires mastering the strategies for that land and getting a bit lucky. Or rather, not having bad luck. And so, you know, I think this is the easiest land to master that strategy. Let's see if this will take us any place useful. It will at least clear the board, and there actually is a crossroads for us, and we can get into it. Alright, so that was very good. So I think now we're actually going to run into, let's see, the Mirrored Land is pretty appealing. The desert actually is pretty appealing. I think I'm going to go into the Mirrored Land first. The mirror shards are not super useful, though they can become pretty useful once you're surrounded by a lot of stuff. So the strategy for this land, you know, the main thing is watch for eagles and really be mindful of eagles, really be thinking about them. The other main thing is, you know, knowing when to grab the treasures and kind of managing your mimics as well as you can. So this one's going to take a little longer than the others. And we're going to have to be a little bit more careful, especially when you have the mimics breaking your mirrors like that. It can be very, very frustrating. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stay close to this orb of safety with the intention that if things get too hairy, we will just drop into it. And the mimics will collect treasures, but they will not collect orbs. And I think they might only collect shards, because shards are the one treasure that enemies won't walk over. And they actually act as a barrier. Let's see, is there anything... I saw there's another orb of safety over here. Is there anything we can grab that's within 7 tiles of that? Looks like there's something for us at least. And it looks like there's a little something extra. And so now I think, you know, maybe it's best to drop in there. There's a crossroads for us. So it might be wise to kind of... but there's the no dipping rule. Will actually make it so that we have to come in a ways from the crossroads in order to find treasures. Let's see, get our mirage there. So we're already at 13, which is not too bad. And I think the thing to do is actually to move away from the crossroads. And as we get more kills, the treasure spawn rate should be higher. So we may want to do that, though it looks like the treasure spawn rate is pretty high at this point. And let's see, okay, that'll work. Let's see, there we go. Oh dear, I did not see that eagle. That was a mistake. Alright, so Probably should spend less time trying to get cheeky with my mirages and more time just trying to deal with combat in, you know, safe and sane ways. There's 18, 19, and 20, so we only need 5 more. And that was really careless of me. There we go. It looks like actually a lot of treasures are spawning right next to this land here. I'm not sure... oh! New achievement, Mirror Master. Collect 25 mirror shards. So I guess those treasures spawned because I wasn't actually within 7 steps of that land. And so, you know, now that we are close to that land, we're not seeing as many treasures. So now we have to get out, and the palace is not really where I want to escape to, though it looks like that is what we're being presented with. And I actually think it might not be such a terrible idea if we can find an orb of safety in here. We might actually be able to get started on the 25 treasures. This is the land. This is the first land we're going to go into where I really feel like it's possible that I could get 25 treasures, but I don't feel like I have mastered the strategies for this area. I feel like I'm competent. And so it's going to be actually a really big challenge to get all of the treasures. And there is our orb of safety, so that's where we're going to wrap it up. There we go. And drop into there. So in the next episode, we will focus on getting those 25 treasures. We might want to take a detour through that minefield. The minefield is one of the other lands where I have gotten 25 treasures, and where I felt like getting 25 treasures was actually not all that difficult. And so that is something to consider. The minefield is, you know, it's challenging, but if you're careful, it's quite safe. You can use reasoning and logic to really mitigate most of the challenge. But we're in the palace right now, so we may just decide to go with the palace first, finish that off. My only concern being that the palace is very likely to kill us off. But that is all decisions that we will have to make in the future. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.